Hi, welcome to another episode of the Scout Life. Today's a pretty exciting one because we are going to rescue an old 1971 1210 pickup. I think it's a D series, two-wheel drive. I'm really stoked about getting, I don't know much about the pickups, but I'm stoked to learn and be a part of it. So, and some of you guys have seen this truck. This is not the first time I've been out here, but it's the first time I have a plan of attack to hopefully drive it home. So let's go check it out. It's a desert truck. There she is, man. All right, here she is. So it's a 71 1210 two-wheel drive. I've never driven it. It's not really ever moved. I think it's been moved, but not by me. Super sweet. Let's check out the inside. Oh yeah, you gotta hit the I don't know if it's missing a fender bolt or something. It's actually pretty sweet. So we'll go through it. It's super windy out here. We're in the middle of the kind of high desert. I'm really excited about this whole project and process. But there is a carport over there, and I'm hoping, I asked the owner, who's been gracious to allow me to keep this truck here for a while. It's got the classic wood bumper. You gotta love that. To move it into that carport. So let's go, let me find out an answer on that, and then we can get out of the dirt, and because it needs quite a bit of stuff. We brought the Scout. Scouts are running pretty awesome right now. We brought a lot of stuff. I tried to be as prepared as possible for this adventure because I want to get it home today. So we're gonna get some tow straps and see if we can't pull it out. I know for a fact there's black widows on this truck, and I don't want to deal with that. So before we get too set up, let's we bought these hot shot foggers, dude. Owen's gonna go set them up. Put one in the cab, on the floor, under the driver's, on the driver floor. Then we'll put two under the hood. Let's go check it out. I'll film you.
We just pop the hood and just thousands.
So we're missing the hood springs. That kind of stinks. Got to hit up Dan at Binder Boneyard, try to get some springs. Yeah, we're gonna find a piece of wood. The hood prop, dude. Okay. We're gonna go for two under the hood. Goodbye, spiders. Smells like cheap laundry detergent. Oh, you're right. Glad it's not me. I know I've said it before, but I really like this Ultra Swing from Rigged. It's been a great, man. I've really enjoyed it. So we're gonna use this clevis. Pretty straightforward. Just hook it through here. Probably roll down the windows, let it air out. Let's take the foil out. Oh, the window's stuck? Okay. All right, don't break it. That's weird.
Dude, whoa. I would have just listened. I got loose, right? These doors close really nicely.
Yeah, the truck's awesome, dude. I'm so stoked on it. Check out these tires, man. The tires are extremely dry, rotted, and cracked. There's a bunch of extra, not really any of these are, we got some like a 12.5 wide, 14 by 32, dude, that's a crazy tire. So we have a couple extra, at least if we can make it to a tire store, if we can get this running, if everything goes well. Why don't you drive the Scout, I'll drive the pickup. In the tire tracks, so I hope I didn't run over a dumb nail. Take a listen. You know, Winston, it's got to get me to the tire store. Check this out too, man. This is interesting. See that I-beam or angle C-channel? That's a system for the bumper to slide out. So why would they have a bumper that slides out? I don't know. Something interesting. Oh, maybe, I know, like a camper. Like if you have a camper on here, you slide, the camper hangs out, which is a lot of times when that happens, the tailgate's missing. Check this out. And I'm gonna show you a piece of paper, but I'm pretty sure that that's verified from 1991. So it's been sitting for a long time, 30 years. And I'm confident it has not run in 30 years. Wow. So let's do some investigation. This is probably my favorite part of buying vehicles that have sat for a long time. Okay, so it's interesting. The license plate says 1991. Who knows where or what this box is from, but this box says 2009, February 28th. So we have some trim pieces, which are really cool to have. Headlight trim ring. I think this is part of like a battery tray, but it's like been cleaned up. Alternator. Here's those hood springs, broken of course. So I need to get some of those. Dan, if you watch this, I gotta get some hood drops. This is like an alternator, I'm sorry, an AC compressor support bracket. Helping vibration issues, choke heat riser. Fuel pump is in here. That's cool. Spark plugs. RJ12YCs, my favorite. So that's awesome. I'm sure we'll need those. But check this out. This is really cool. Really cool. I'm so grateful that this the operator's manual, but check this out. So 71 International seal sweller for the crankcase. So that must tell us that the rear main seal is leaking or something's leaking. Alternator bearings and brushes, which tells us that the alternator was probably noisy. Flush system with fuel dryer. Yeah, and judging by the fact that there's gloves in the fuel caps, it maybe got water in the tank. Rebuild carb, rebuild starter, fill diff, clean out radiator, reseal water pump, spark plugs and wires, replace mufflers, flush tranny. I don't know if that means take tube out of rear tire, lube locks and windows. That's interesting because it was so hard to roll down that window. But this is all the stuff that he was in the middle of doing. This is pretty old paper. So yeah, let's go look at the engine. And this is interesting. We got brand new radiator hoses, which I'm stoked about. Some other kind of little miscellaneous trim pieces. Okay, so this is interesting. You saw that list that we had. Valve cover's loose. So his note on valve cover gaskets, it's missing, looks like it's missing the fuel pump, and it's been off for a while. It's really dusty and dirty. I don't know if this water pump is bad per se. I feel like we'll maybe put water in it. I mean, obviously, like heater hose lines have been cut. So last time I came here, just to be full transparent, I put a battery in it, and I found this old carburetor, and I used like a fender bolt. There's no gasket on it, and I did get it to puff over, and actually it would like putted its way through. So, but this is not a good sign. That's mouse turds, and like there's, I don't know, man. And like the thermostat bolt is out, so I'll probably like replace that. Looks like he put this hose on newer. I don't know if this is a 392 or a 345. It's not an improved cool if it is, because the water tubes go into the cylinder heads, which is from, that's a non-improved cooling. But it is a 71, so I'm hoping it's a 392. But, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a proper carburetor gasket, and I brought a different carb, get that put on. We're going to clean and install a fuel pump and probably change the oil, because this oil is rank. Let's check it. It's actually, unfortunately, kind of milky. I mean, I don't know, it's just really brown. So I'm just gonna change the oil. And then I think we'll just try to, and I'll probably put the alternator, well, I'll do the fuel pump first while the alternator's off. Put the alternator bracket and alternator back on. I don't need the belts, but just put the alternator back on so this isn't hanging here. And then we'll try to start it. And then because I don't want, you know, if it's got like a massive rod knock, I don't think it does, but if it does, then we're obviously going to abandon the mission. So man, I tried to be like prepared, but my worst case scenario came true. And that I had like my Craftsman socket and wrench set and a 1/2-inch drive impact. The 1/2-inch drive impact we could probably live without, but I have no sockets and very few wrenches. So we'll do as much as we can. We might have to run out to the parts store and buy some tools. Dang it. Man, it's like, look at all this stuff. I brought tons of fluids. I even bought like a boat gas tank in case we can't get the tank working. I brought spare parts, oil change, all this stuff. And I had it setting out on my bench and I just forgot it. So anyway, kind of stinks, but we'll do our best. This is how it goes with these projects. Owen went to go get some tools. Kind of mad about that. And to go see if they have valve cover gaskets, because I was just, oh dude, there might be a valve cover gasket enough on there. I did bring some right stuff. But anyway, and I hope you feel like you're part of the journey here. So I'm pretty excited. This is a lot of fun. It's fun getting a rig running, discovering if it's gonna work. It's filled with high highs and low lows, like if it's got a rod knock, or if the transmission doesn't work, or if the brakes won't work. But I'm pretty confident we'll get it going and drive it out of here. And oh, you'll never guess, I did get it registered. So I have a good title, and now it's registered in my name and insured. So that's a rare occasion. Look at this thing. It's got the sweet tow mirrors. This thing must have been a camper hauler. That's my guess. I don't know if I'm gonna, I probably gotta take all these tires with me. But anyway, we'll find a local tire store in town. And as a video series, I've been doing some research, just so you know. I know like the audio's not great all the time. Heck, really none of the videos are great as far as quality. But I am trying to make them less annoying and more fun to watch. So anyway, I'll just try to talk loud. But what I'm gonna do is just remember on our list it said that this needed to be recharged. So I'm gonna hope there's no Freon in it. And I'm just gonna get this out of my way because and all I have is vice grips. Literally, I have a screwdriver. I do have a hammer. And no Freon, so that's good. I would like to get the AC working. I love old trucks with AC. And normally we have people grinding and or dogs barking. Today we have the dogs barking, and I think we have like roosters or something. So that's cool. Much better. We have a lot more space, and now I can tie this out of the way. Cool. take this valve cover off. And I'm just gonna let this video be kind of long. I don't know, I feel like this is a cool process. It's a rare process for me to, my philosophy on this is not like, will it run, get it running, go park it in my backyard and leave it and let it rot. Like, I want to use this truck. I need a pickup truck in my life. And I have a lot of house projects and yard projects and hauling projects. So I'm gonna get this thing cherried out and it's gonna be my tow rig. And I'm super stoked. So let's find out if it's a 392 or a 345 too. So I'm gonna take this valve cover off and then check that out. Check this out. I'm not sure if you can see this, but what's cool about IHs is on that number plate. Dude, the holy grail. A non-improved cool 392, my favorite. I'm stoked about that. Oh yeah, 392 power. Good old props to Ruben back in the day. We had this customer named Ruben, if you're out there watching, but he used to always he was so proud of his 392 and his 76 Terra. He would always yell, 392 power, baby. And then he would proceed to rock bounce it on the Ford Ice and knock his transfer case right off his transmission, crack the transmission adapter housing, broke the T-case. His front, what happened was he slammed into this wall screaming 392 power, this like 2-foot ledge, and the center pins sheared off the front leaf springs, which forced the axle back, which then compressed the drive shaft, knocked the transfer case off, and at the same time like broke his tie rod. So he had a broken tie rod in a 3-second dumb move. It changed our whole trip. But 392 power, baby. I don't know what just happened there. I got like 3 phone calls in a row. It's one of the challenges of recording on your iPhone. Okay, this is the part I'm slightly sad about. Okay, so here's what I'm not super stoked about. Let's go look at the mileage. Because as you can see, man, this thing's real gummy. And this is like hard. It's like really weird tech consistency. Now what that usually means is that they didn't change the oil very often. But this says 93,000. And I don't know about you, but based on the carpet condition, the pedal, like look at that pedal pad and the gas pedal. That is not a lot of wear. So I'm thinking that it's 93,000, not 193, but I could be wrong. I would guess 93 though, just the general condition of everything. So it must have got, I don't know. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna change the oil, but I think when I get back, if it makes it, I'm going to run some like engine flush and maybe change the oil like 2 or 3 times, like drive it for 500 miles, change the oil, drive it 500 miles, change it, and see if we can't get some of this carbon buildup and just gross stuff out of the motor. So I just got word from Owen. He went to O'Reilly's to buy a socket set. There is no, they don't have any valve cover gaskets. So, okay, while I'm waiting for Owen, I'm going to just top off some of these fluids. Just let that soak in a little bit, hopefully get a pedal. We may have to like bleed the brakes. All right, I'm gonna start cleaning up this valve cover surface. Okay, I wanted to show you, I'm just changing these, taking these hose clamps off. I'm gonna try to wrist because I don't have these elbows. But if you take these like original style band hose clamps, you just take them loose and then you smack them with a hammer right on the head. That's what loosens them. I've just kind of learned that, which is crazy. But all right, Owen's back. We're stoked. Now we have a socket set. Out. Do it again, O. That's a really good sign, man. We got master cylinder fluid movement, at least in the front. The back's not moving much, but we don't really need rear brakes. So that's a good sign. We got some disappointments today, some good things going on. Was the pedal just going all the way to the floor?
Yeah, I was just doing that barely.
Did it feel like you had brakes though, or was it going?
Yeah, felt good.
Cool. So we discovered another thing. In my stupid mistake of forgetting the socket sets, we were gonna put in these spark plugs, but we don't have a spark plug socket. So they're in there. It has plugs, so we're just gonna turn the blind eye. Owen's gonna clean up these valve cover surfaces and the fuel pump surface. I'm gonna start working on the ignition switch. Dude, a lot of spider webs under here. I'm telling you. But the truck is clean, man. Here we go. 30-year oil. Oh my gosh.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Couple drops.
I was all excited. That's terrible. A couple drops of water. I don't know if I believe that.
I think it's clogged.
Can you give me a screwdriver? Let's...
Oh, he's right.
Not the greatest sign in the world. Oh, dude, look.
What is that? What is that? Dude, what is that?
I've never seen that.
Is that grease? Is that a thing? Ah,
I knew it.
it's like rubber.
Dude, this is like grease. It's like old gear oil. I've never seen that before. Now she's flowing, dude, like the oil wells of Texas.
Oh,
Wish you guys could see that.
that's so gross.
Anyway, we're gonna let that just kind of do its thing for a little bit. Not a good sign, but 30 years, dude, that's what happens. All right, we're gonna try to do this. I have a feeling this is not gonna go well. Oh, wow, I was wrong. That's a miracle.
What?
The oil filter was like hand tight.
Nice. Kind of sketchy they're driving around with that, but I guess it's whatever, man.
Still draining. Trying not to get this grease on my arm. Nice, so you got the little protective rag. I love it. It's a tedious job, man. No one said this work is glamorous, but it is fun. Switch. I've never done one in a pickup truck before. It could be easy if the wires are long enough. Yes. So that was pretty easy. And it's a bummer, man. The switch looks like it's brand new. But at least I'm gonna go get the new switch, plop it up in there. This thing's like cherry, man. Love it. Okay, let me go find the new ignition switch. Get me nervous. Okay. Hope I can find it. And we're not using that carburetor. So Owen's gonna put the carburetor on. I'm gonna put the fuel pump on. And I brought a Scout 2 fuel pump. Now this fuel pump was in the truck and it is all rebuilt. So it's possible. I wish I knew my pickup truck stuff better. But good luck, I am missing that fitting 8th NPT. So that might be a bust. There's a filter. This is missing that fitting as well. So that kind of is a bummer. But good news, we did find this bucket of bolts. Found the alternator bracket. So we're getting close, man. It's gonna be dicey, but we're doing our best.
Hypothetically, this guy coming from this port. Oh wait, no.
I think we're missing a thing.
Wait, which one's the new one? Here. Put some of this in the threads.
Okay, so Owen is, I'm really squatting down awkwardly, but as Owen is changing over parts and pieces from a couple different Edelbrock carbs, I checked and this Scout 2 fuel pump fits, so I'm gonna use it. I bought this piece of fuel line, so I'm going to use it. So I'm gonna slap the fuel pump on first and then we're getting somewhere. And then we got to do the valve cover after this. I'll do the alternator, then valve cover, then we'll try to start it. We'll just okay. The hose clamp looks like it's jacked up anyway. All right, so Owen's doing a good job. He got the water neck off.
This thing is crazy.
Yeah, just pull that whole heater hose out of there. The whole kit and caboodle. Find out where it's routed. It's probably going through a clamp.
Let me see.
I'm working on fuel hoses.
Oh, it's all the way back there.
Owen's gonna clean up the thermostat and water housing.
You just want that out fully.
All right, it's valve cover time. It's hard to see in the shadow, but there's an old gasket. It's missing this chunk. So I'm just gonna fill this with the right stuff and plop it on there and do my best because it's the best we got, and we'll have to do it when we get back to the shop someday. Bit of things done. Sorry I haven't been filming too much. It's just really hard to do work, fight the early sunset. It's like 3 o'clock. We've been out here since like 11. Haven't taken a lunch break. And we're just missing some stuff. It makes me, the funny thing is, like, I watch a lot of these resurrection, like, will it run videos, and I like them a lot, but they make it seem a lot of times like it's a one-day affair. This is my 3rd session out here. My second official work session on this truck. I've had Owen, who's been helping me. We didn't have a ton to do. Maybe in the summer when it gets late at 9 o'clock or it gets dark at 9. But in the winter months, it's harsh. So what we're doing, we're hooking up the boat tank. We're just gonna try to get it running. I'm missing a couple bolts for the alternator. I got the valve cover done. We got the water neck cleaned up and resealed. Bypassed the heater core. That's what Owen's wrapping up now. Before we put coolant in it, we're just gonna try to get it running and see what it does. At least let the engine get warm. Maybe I'll come back, change the oil again, and get some wheels and tires, because that's the other thing, is I can't find wheels and tires locally. So challenge, bros, challenge. Okay, so good and bad. We've had a good day, but we're just running out of time, and we need a couple more parts, and there's no way that we're gonna be able to make it on these tires in the dark. So we got the carburetor on. We got the fuel pump hooked up. So far the fuel pump's not working, which is making me a little bit bummed. We got a fuel hose, got oil valve cover. We're jumping the battery right now to give her a little bit of juice. So we're just gonna try to bump her over and see if it'll start, and then I don't know, just see what happens. And unfortunately the key doesn't work. I think it's giving it ignition power. All right, so I'm just gonna bump it over. Very good, but at least it started. All right, here we go. We're gonna try it again. Owen's just filling the bowls again. We figured out why it was like revving so high. The throttle cable is too short for this carb, so we just got to adjust it, but we're not gonna mess with that right now. Heads up. Switch, it might be, I don't know, because it's like there's no gauges. I can't start it with the key. Something's messed up with the fuel pump. Okay, I think I had the fuel hoses reversed, so I reversed, and of course we got the leaf blower going. It's not Scout, it's always Scout lifestyle to have grinding, dogs barking, roosters crowing, horses neighing. Now we got leaf blowers. So, all right, I'm gonna fire it up. Sounds really weird. There's no coolant in it, so I think I'm just gonna see if the transmission does anything. Don't stand in front of it. No gauges, no transmission, and the engine sounds really weird. But I'm gonna shut it off. Can you turn the key off, oh? At least we got fuel, and at least
What the heck?
Okay. All right, so I feel like a little bit of a failure. We are 2 hours away from where we live, so it is a big commitment to come back, but I'll try to wear the same clothes so it looks like it's the same day. And we'll be back with some alternator, the correct bolts for the alternator. I'll bring my multimeter, I forgot that. Some diagnostic equipment. So I'd really like to get it starting with the key. Yeah, bet more tools. We'll get it next time, and I'll come with some wheels and tires too. And that'll be fun. We'll bring the jack. Anyway, the Scout life continues. We won't do an episode part 2. We're just gonna do one long video. So we'll be back. All right, it's a new day, and of course, the dogs are barking. Wouldn't have it any other way on the Scout life. So today we came prepared. Well, Owen's not here today, so it's just us here. I'm gonna try my best, man. I actually scored some cool things. I'll walk you through exactly what the plan is for today, and hopefully we're gonna get this beast running. So as we left off, I found this air cleaner. That's cool. I put 2 quarts of trans fluid in. Still's not reading on the dipstick. Still's not moving. My theory is there's a trans line that runs up underneath to the radiator here. There's a junction in, dang these dogs, but there's a junction in that was removed. So my theory is that they used that junction to kind of run it and pump the fluid out, or they were going to try to take out the radiator, but there's no other evidence of the radiator trying to be taken out. So I'm going to just put a few more quarts in that, because it wouldn't move at all. The truck wouldn't even engage when you put it into drive or reverse. Throw a couple more quarts in there. I'm just gonna clean the points. I brought some 320 sandpaper. I'm gonna try to clean the points, and I'm gonna change these wires, maybe even the spark plugs. I'm gonna get coolant in it so I can run it longer, and try to fix the ignition system because it won't start with the key. But it should be a fun day, and we'll hanging out, man. We're just hanging out. I did try to organize myself more too. Fluids, right stuff, WD, blah blah blah. These are emergency kind of tools, specialty stuff, toe straps, rags, tools. As you can see, the Ultra Swing is perfect for this. So let's get going. I'm gonna add a few quarts of fluid here. So like I said, I poured that trans fluid in, much to my surprise, and kind of not my surprise, it is all leaking out. So I'm gonna try to clean this up really quick. All right, so I'm gonna pull a plug. Just gonna keep moving on with my list. Yeah, it was a bummer to discover the transmission pan had been taken off. It's only held on by 1 bolt, so I don't have any of the transmission pan bolts or a plug, so I need to go back to the auto parts store. But in the meantime, I don't want to deal with that right now. So I'm gonna give myself until 1 o'clock. It's 11:30 to get the tune-up stuff done and just try to get the motor running better. I'll put coolant in it, put the alternator on, and do plugs and wires. So let's keep cracking. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just put new plugs in it. And just do the plugs, rotor, cap, rotor, plugs, wires, just do it all. So this has a points distributor. Normally I like to just change those out with the Pertronics, but the main contacts are just right there. So I'm just gonna run a piece of sandpaper, some 320 in between the contacts, just kind of draw it through a couple times. And I just lubed up the contact points, and they appear to be opening fine. But just clean them, and then I'm gonna replace the cap and wires. So I was gonna show you quick how I do the spark plug wires and cap. So right behind the water neck, you have the firing order. So I just took that firing order, I traced number 2, which is this front left. Trace number 2 to the cap, so now I know which number 2 is. Then I trace my 4, 6, and 8, just so I know like the rotates, because sometimes it's confusing. They actually rotate counterclockwise. Well, no, that's clockwise. Sorry, but that's confusing to me sometimes, or it has confused me. So then I just go on the cap, the old cap, and I write down all the cylinder numbers on the cap, and then I just wrote those onto there, and now I'll just take all the wires off, and just so then you're not doing it one at a time. And in my situation, I should make sure I have the proper wires, but I won't do that. I'm just gonna take them all off, then get cracking on the plugs. I was on the fence about doing the plugs, but as you can see, they've been in there a while. They're kind of fouled, so. Motorcraft, dude. Motorcraft belongs in a Ford, not in an IH. I like using the Champions, man. I've always had good luck with these Box 14 RJ12YCs. Been using them for 20 plus years, so always had good luck with them. Okay, I'm gonna do the wires now on this side, and then I'll move to the other side. That, dude, on the pickup trucks compared to the Scouts, I don't know. It probably depends on what year Scout and how much smog equipment has, but man, it's very easy to access this motor on both sides. So doing the plugs is a breeze. All right, got the passenger side done. I love that it has those original valve cover wire clamps or clasps. Got her nice and good. This side got a giver for gratuitous Black Widow brake clean blast. These desert trucks, man, you stick your hand in the wrong place, be the last thing you ever do. So it looks like this alternator was an externally regulated alternator, but I only brought an internally regulated. Let me see, there was actually an alternator somewhere in the truck. Let me go look, see if I can find the one that he was replacing. I thought I saw one in the bed. I'll be right back. Okay, good. So I did find an externally regulated alternator. It sounds good. We're gonna give it a shot. And I brought the right bolts. That was one of my missions when I was in town. Okay, I got the holes cleaned out because they were full of dirt. Probably from like an insect trying to make a house. I'm not 100% confident I'm gonna be able to get this alternator working, but I'll switch it out to an internally regulated one when I get it back to the shop. So I got the alternator bracket on. Now I'm gonna put, good thing I brought some belts. They're the same as the Scout 2, the 7612, so I'm gonna put those on. Feed them on there, try not to get bit by a spider. It's kind of hard to get that bolt in. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little research on wiring up this alternator, get the belts on, then we'll move on to the cooling system, and then we're gonna try to start it and let it actually run for a bit. Maybe. I might just go to the, might be smarter to go get the nuts and, well, the bolts for the trans pan and pull it forward so I'm not laying in transmission fluid. Oh well. So I just decided I'm gonna put, I got the alternator done, the spark plugs, cap rotor done. I'm going to just pour a gallon of antifreeze in and just see if it leaks before I put the upper radiator hose on. All right, I'm gonna go put another one in. I guess it's not leaking, so let's slap another one in. Just installing this upper hose. I do have a leak from the like elbow kind of hose. Well, I'm not too worried about that. When you have old crusty hose clamps, it's helpful. Give them a little shot of lubricant. Help them not get some toe up. All right, so let's put the rest of this second gallon in. Then I'm going to hook up the negative cable. And I think I'll try to puff it over again. And I got a really bad leak. But if it's leaking cold and not running, it's gonna leak really bad, won't it? I'm gonna take it off and just see what's going on. Annoying. Sorry I missed you. I just fired it up. I have an electrical problem. I'm not gonna run it too long because of the transmission. It was kind of running bad yesterday when I tried to start it, and that's what I found out was I have like barely any voltage to the coil, and like it won't start with the key. So I have some electrical feed problem that I'm gonna kind of work on that first, and then I'm also gonna work on the transmission. I feel like it's unsafe for the transmission to just keep running it with no fluid in it and the pan loose. So I think I'm gonna go into town, get some transmission bolts, and then get that sealed, filled, And then I feel confident that we can change the tires and wheels. That's easy. I might have to do that on my next visit. It's 1:15. I have like 2 more hours before it starts getting dark and cold. But let's keep going, man. That's what you do with this stuff. You just keep going. Fix little things. Go through the highs and lows, just like your projects in your garages. Except here, everything takes longer because I'm out in... Okay, so I need to put it, jack it up to get under there to check the transmission. So I figured might as well get a win and slap the front tires on. Okay, so here we are underneath. I mean, first off, the truck is in great shape. Mufflers are blown out, but that's kind of to be expected. So here's what I saw. So this, I'm guessing that's a drain plug that's missing. I don't have one at all. So I'll clean that up. Go buy, it looks like 3/8 NPT, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if this guy like died right in the middle of taking all this stuff apart, but I don't know why he did that. Okay, but anyway, then there's just there's only 2 bolts in the pan. As you can see, all the bolts are out. This is the kind of stuff that you run into, and I don't know what this is. It looks like a vacuum line, but I don't see anywhere that a vacuum line would hook up. So I'm gonna crack these bolts. I'm gonna do it kind of carefully. Try to get you guys in on the action. That's a little weird why there's coolant. I know some of these Borg Warners run cycle coolant through them. Well, through like a heat exchanger. Oh, it would be coming through the radiator. But it's like really green. I don't know. This could be the deal breaker, man. But there's no gasket either, which I'm okay with not running a gasket. I'm gonna go get a big pair of channel locks to get this off, and then I'll try to get the pan off. Dudes, sorry, I just couldn't hold the camera, but that doesn't look too bad. But look at this. It's like jelly mixed with, I don't know, something really bad. So I gotta get that cleaned up, try to get the right bolts, and then a drain plug, and that should be enough to at least get it sealed up enough to drive. Anyway, the joys of working on old trucks, man. Okay, for those of you that are very observant, and also I saw these like screws that are kind of like backed out. I'm guessing that's where the filter would go. I do not have a filter, and I very much doubt that like any local auto parts store is gonna have one. So I think I'm shut down from driving it today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish putting the wheels and tires on it and just spend the rest of my day just troubleshooting the electrical. I'm not even gonna bother going into town and trying to get bolts. So, and I'll clean this goop out of this pan. Dudes, I've never seen anything like this. Look at that. I mean, the good thing is I don't think that's up inside the transmission. I think it's just been 30-year-old transmission fluid turned mixed with moisture. You know, doesn't mean the transmission's bad, but anyway, I just want to show you that's terrible. All right, so another day has passed. I messed with the electrical a little more, and like the blower motor works. I think the headlights are starting to work. The radio works, that's pretty cool. I still can't get it to start with the key, but that's okay because I can drive it like that. So next sesh, I'm gonna go get that transmission pan gasket filter kit, get some transmission pan bolts, a drain plug, and that's really it, man. I also had one problem. I bought some Dodge rims, some 16-inch rims off a 1992 Dodge Ram 3500 whatever diesel, and 3 of them fit. One of them just didn't fit underneath the hub on the rear axle over the hub, so I think it was tweaked a little bit. So I'll just take a die grinder or a hand file and get that fit at the house, or I might just bring a file. I don't know yet. But man, another day. I can't say I hate it. I like being out here and working. But one more sesh, and then I might cave and bring a trailer. If I can't get the transmission to work, then I don't have a choice. But I love the truck. It's super nice. It's in great condition. I'm pretty sure that it's got 90,000 original miles. There's like no rust underneath the truck. Really solid. And it's got AC, power steering, power brakes. It's pretty much loaded. It's got the exterior cool trim. So I think I'm gonna polish it out, get it going. I'm excited. I do have a question though. Do you guys want to see a D-Series, a pickup truck brought into the Scout Life, or do you want to keep it just Scouts? I'd like to kind of pull in a pickup truck, and I have a 4-cylinder 67 800 coming, and my V8 Red 800 that we got a lot of work to do too. So anyway, thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you tomorrow. I know in the video it'll be 2 seconds, but for me it'll be a couple days because I got to get those parts. So. All right, so we're back. This is like day 4, and I brought some heavy firepower. This is my friend Al. I know he's wearing the wrong shirt, but we still let him work on the IH stuff. So we're gonna get right at it. Dan from Boneyard, as I said, really bailed me out with those transmission parts. And it's already like 1:30 here, and so we gotta try to be out of here by like before dark. So we're gonna hustle. We probably won't film a ton, but the 4 major things we're gonna try to tackle today. Number 1, transmission. Get the modulator, get that stuff in so we can see if it moves. Number 2, get the alternator working. Number 3, test all the lights. And then if we're lucky, try to make it start with the key. So let's get back after it. All right, so got the vacuum modulator in, vacuum hose. I got to hook this clamp up. Pan. The trans continued to drain, so that was had about 2 inches, about an inch worth of ATF type F in it. Got everything filtered, everything's ready to go. So I'm going to put fluid in it, and we'll check in with Al. I think he's got some info on the fuel tank. Yep. Okay, so we're on. Al's got the fuel system, I think, figured out. There's gas we purged out of the left tank, but we're gonna get it started off the boat tank. As you can see, I'm using this little primer to get it into that fuel filter, and then it's bubbling through our fuel pump. We're putting trans fluid in it. Al, you want to check the coolant level? We'll see if we can get a little bit in that. Yep. Al's been a big help, man. Then we're gonna slap that rear tire on. Right. We're just hustling.
We're good, and then we've also got the. Let's see. Do we want to?
All right, so you guys, we're just checking final things. I'm gonna start it with my key.
By reaching down?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is the ignition on?
Let me turn it and let me just try it. I don't think it's going to work, but
Right. Key, leave the key on. And do we want to put it in neutral or park? Okay.
And I don't know, I'm going to hit the e-brake. Yeah.
The e-brake cable's broken, so.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to fire it up.
Yeah, I'll be the maestro on that. I don't hear any, the accelerator pump squirting anything in. So we may want to go ahead and prime the fuel pump, the bowl, because there's nothing squirting yet.
True. Here, let's try this.
A little more. Yeah, we got it now.
Okay. This is kind of hard with the heat shield,
Uh-huh.
but sometimes I get a little. Key is on?
Huh?
The key is on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same sound as when it starts.
Okay.
Let's fire it up every time. Let's just see if we got power at the coil. Okay, so we don't have power. I'm guessing we have a ignition problem. Here, I have a test light. Did I give you that?
Well, here, I'm just going to pull the coil wire off and see if we get a spark jump.
Do you have a? Did I hand you that test light by chance?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
I mean, this will tell us that the whole point system is working.
Right. This will tell us if we. So something's not right. We could check.
Well, if the points are open right now, we're not grounded then.
But it should have. Because last time I checked it. Here, I'll do.
Well, so if you just take your metal piece and just give me a little, give it a little turn, we should see sparks coming here.
Where'd I put it?
Right here? Is this it here?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna jump. We're getting again low voltage at the, which makes sense because it's a resisted wire to the coil positive.
Right.
But on the
But it's
starter, there's another wire that gives it a full 12-volt jump
when it goes into start.
when it goes into start mode. And we're not
Yeah.
going into start mode per se, at least with a key. So I'm checking this. I got 12 volts to this. We're gonna jump this to that.
Okay.
And then we'll be live again.
I'm just going to check to make sure.
Oh, I think it'll just start.
Okay, well, let me just put her back on. Hold on just 1 sec.
You don't want to get juiced,
I
man.
don't want to light up my life. There you go.
We're not getting spark.
Well, let me do the coil test again, because then that's going to be something in the distributor. No, you got the key on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have it jumped. as
and
well.
we're going straight here, hot wired. So,
All right, we're gonna troubleshoot the.
distributor.
Maybe it's the points are dirty or something, or we'll check it out.
Yeah. I'm going to open the points.
So we're just troubleshooting the points. I'm not a wizard with points. Al's a little more familiar than I am. I think our coil's good. We tested the ohms on the coil. I think that's good.
Now I'm going to do a test to see if juice flows through the coil and into, oh wow. Why the spark on that? Because the points was open, and that means that no juice can be flowing through the actual point contacts.
Right.
So the condenser's bad.
All right, so I'm gonna go hunt for a condenser.
Well, first of all, let's just try it without it. And the way we can do that, cheat on it, is just to remove it from its mount, and then that ungrounds it. So we don't have to disconnect it from the points.
And we do, I know this I'm saving this rig for another video, but we might steal a condenser and whatever points we need from this truck. I do have an electronic Pertronix ignition on order, Al, for this, so
Sweet.
I'm just trying to nurse it to get it home.
Yep, you betcha.
I have just about everything you guys could possibly need.
Well, that's a good thing. Yep.
He was an old Vietnam vet, bought it. He was the 5th owner, and moved in for a knee replacement, and he got disease.
Oh my God.
So check the rear diff fluid, looks good. I don't see any wheel, grease from the wheel bearings. No brake fluid. We haven't really checked the brakes, but I think we have a pedal. Al's getting along. We discovered this. This is why on these old rigs, even though I had this running twice already, we found this like non-factory wire to the negative side of the coil that we think might have been grounding out.
I'm pretty sure. Yep.
So Al's got the points pretty much.
Yep.
Junkyard rebuilt.
Filed and gapped. Condenser checked. And a funky termination redone. Okay, so now we will just hot wire it to put 12 volts directly to the coil. Don't care about that black wire.
Cool, we got it figured out. So you ready to, we'll put the cap rotor back on.
Yep, we're gonna.
I'll get my starter.
There you go, the key.
I would like to, because when the motor's hot, it's not gonna be fun jump starting it.
Yeah. You wanna go ahead and stick it on? The starter? The switch? Or well, that
Well,
might
let's just
be.
see, because if we don't have a transmission, all this is futile.
Okay, gotcha.
So let's just get it warm. We want to see what the cooling system does. We want to see if the transmission budges. So I think what we'll do is just let it run for like, a couple minutes.
Yep.
And then we'll put it in, check the fluid, put it in drive, see if we got any. And then we'll figure out the last real issue we have that we know. It doesn't like that choke.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I flooded it.
The alternator's charging, so that's good. Engine just got a little quieter, that's good. You gotta take that cap off.
We still got about 2 inches, that's good. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, a couple lazy lifters.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Kind of smoking a bit, but that's normal. None of the oil or temperature gauge don't work, so not 100% sure what's going on there. Right now, I'm just hoping that the thermostat opens up, because we did not put a new thermostat in it. check the brakes. I put another quart in there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't have any gauges. I'll have to troubleshoot that. There's bits of smoke. I can't tell if it's just smoke creeping through from where it's an electrical fire. I don't know. Brakes. Unfortunately, they go to the floor, so I think we're gonna have to bleed the brakes. We have power steering. That feels good. Let's go check. Let's go see if we can add some. It's got a tiny bit of a pedal. The booster's working. And then let's go check it out. All right, so unfortunately the motor it got quieter for a little bit and now it's kind of got noisy again. You can hear a lot of the lifters clicking. I think our thermostat opened up, so that's good news. Again, our temp gauge doesn't work, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this side fine.
Great. I got the idle adjusted pretty well.
Yeah.
Trans fluid, we've added about six or seven quarts at this point. You want some more? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have it jocked backwards so you don't hit the trailer?
No.
Nice.
Hey, we got transmission, dude. Woo! Let's try it forward.
You jock forward and back. Sweet.
Sweet. That's amazing. So we have transmission, so we're gonna go for a drive pretty soon, man. We just gotta bleed the brakes and get the fuel hooked up. It runs like garbage. It's real rough.
You gotta leave it out a little bit too much.
Anyway, it's gonna be a fun drive home. It is insured though and registered, so but I forgot the license plate at my house, so that's good. All right, it's official. We got transmission. We're pulling fuel. You can see the kind of like honey colored fuel. We put about 4 gallons in the left tank. It's pulling. We had to bypass the switching unit. Here's our key to start it, so that's important. Motor's sounding better. We're gonna go take it for a test drive around the block, man. Clean up our tools and junk. The Scout's been great, but we're losing light, and we're gonna be having some fun. All right, guys, here we go. First drive. We're gonna go put some gas in it. Can't believe we're driving it, man. It's been 4 or 5 trips. Being out in the cold. Is it perfect? I actually like this truck a lot. Brakes feel good. They need to be bled a little more. I'm gonna have to go through everything on this truck, and I plan to. So again, throw in the comments if you want to see work accomplished on a truck on a D series, or like you want to just stick to Scouts, because I have an 800 that I can do. So let's see if she shifts, man. That's my biggest worry. Just first. Uh-oh. Here, let me try to. Brakes are not great. Not great at all. I'm gonna try to manually shift it. There's first, second, that's good. Well, we have second. We're gonna try to take a 2-lane home. The brakes are terrible. But 392. The 392 definitely like got quieter as we ran it more. I'm really happy about that. So anyway, we're gonna go get some gas. Let's I'm excited. She died, man. I did get it to shift in the third and I have no brakes, but it did stall. So I gotta get out and start it with the metal tab. I haven't gotten it to start with the key. Anyway, let's do it. Bad news, team. I think I'm losing the motor. I think I have no oil pressure. It just sounds terrible. It makes sense because I bet the pickup is just so sludged out. So before I ruin the motor, I might just try to like, I don't know, tow it back to Ray's. And my gauge doesn't work, so I think the responsible thing to do is throw an oil pressure gauge on it and pull the pan and check out the oil pump, because it just got way worse. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night and just kind of tuck my tail between my legs. I don't want to blow. It'd be fun for the video to like mob it home, but the motor just got super clacky and it's stalling, so I'm guessing it's just running out of oil pressure. And I don't want to ruin the motor. It's only got 90,000 miles on it, so I'm guessing, again, the sludge that came out of the oil pan, I'm guessing the pickup is clogged or there's just something not right. So I'm gonna get maybe an oil pump rebuild kit. I don't think I need to rebuild it, but just like an oil pan gasket, and maybe we'll I don't know, fix it. But hey, thanks for joining me on this adventure. Sorry we didn't succeed totally. It was a fun adventure. I like the truck a lot. I'm confident we'll get it running. But signing out. Thanks for joining. Good tidings, man.